Welcome to the FLORE Fantasy and Sci-Fi Lore. We have another news edition for you here today. Some of the biggest things on the list are going to be CD Projekt Red dropping the Redkit for The Witcher 3 and how that might completely change that modding community. Fade Alverez making changes between takes to get genuine reactions from his actors, and release dates for The Boys, House of the Dragon, and Lord of the Rings Season 2. So if that is what you're looking for, this is the episode for you. Roll the intro. This is another news edition. As we are still in Fallout, Eli is going to lead us off.
All right. I actually didn't put Fallout first in my notes.
That's okay. You didn't
because I don't have some real Fallout news, you know.
There might not be any, right?
We've got confirmation they're making Season 2. Other than that, I didn't really come across anything too much. So I'll cover my main basics. First off, Dune Messiah is confirmed by Legendary Entertainment. So
that's not surprising. Of all the movies that come out in the last while, Dune is like the only one to like get a good income. Like all the other movies are like, we're losing money, and Dune's like, we're rolling in it.
Yeah, we took it all.
Yeah, they took all the money.
But it's good to hear they're confirmed, right? That we are going to get no hiccups as of today. We did get the Dune Prophecies teaser, so you can go and it's the first trailer for Dune Prophecy. This is the one that was going to be the Sisterhood one. 10,000 years ago, Bene Gesserit before the
I'm gonna have to watch that. I'm curious.
So it's coming to Max, and we are expecting 6 episodes in the fall.
Oh, wow. That's sooner than I thought. Or we've been talking about it for a long time. I don't know.
I've been talking about this for a while. Certainly. All right. So, Alien with Romulus coming in August. We got a close-up look at the practical Xeno that they're using in Fade Alverez's Romulus. This comes from the website bloodydisgusting.com. And then Fade, he's out doing promotional stuff, right? So he talks about how to use the family from Hadley's Hope as an inspiration for his film. He wanted it to make it more of a family setting, but also young people, because they don't know everything, right? If it's about professionals, they know what to do. They know how it works, specifically calls out like, young people, they don't know, just like your audience, right? So they want to connect with the audience.
Oh, yeah, that's something we even talked about in Fallout, right? Like, that's why you are the vault dweller coming into the waste. So both you, the player, and you, the character, don't know. Here, you, the audience, and them, the actors, don't know.
Right. Or the characters, right? Because the actors.
The characters, yeah.
And Spenny, the lead actress, she talks about doing these long takes with these practical Xenos and how Fade kept throwing in surprises during these takes to catch her off guard and other cast members.
He's like, I'm going to change it. Like, take 7, everything changes.
They're like, I didn't expect that. Why'd the water come from over there?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Just to get some genuine reactions out of them.
So he was at CCXP Mexico, where he showed 8 minutes of Romulus. But we haven't really heard anyone put a report on it. Maybe he told people, hey, let's keep this hush-hush. I'm not sure. But they watched 8 minutes of there, and all we really get from it is it's a sequence of tension and terror. That's about it, which, is what you can expect, I guess. Like,
from an alien movie.
It's nothing. Right?
Yeah, it says nothing.
Rogue Incursion, the Alien VR game, coming
hasn't even did it.
I've mentioned a VR game coming.
Okay.
And Rogue Incursion is what it will be called. And we have our first gameplay trailer. It's dark, it's gritty, with lots of nice beeping escalations from the motion sensor. Seems like it'll definitely be a good, scary one for people to be playing alone and by themselves in the dark.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now when you say that, I remember you mentioned this and thinking like compared with Alien Isolation, the way that was, like it'd be good in VR. Yeah, this is coming back.
Yeah. So you'll be in VR, walk around with your motion sensor, your gun that's got 2 bullets in it, all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, that's speculation, of course, but you can go see the live gameplay now. Jumping over to some comic news. So after the success of Predator versus Wolverine, Marvel announces Predator versus Black Panther. This is Benjamin Percy.
I heard about this. I didn't know it was true. I was like, there's so much nonsense on Facebook. Okay, this is happening.
Yes.
Predator versus Black Panther.
Yeah, same guy who wrote the Predator versus Wolverine is now gonna confirmed.
Still similar.
Or similar. But some things he said about it was he thinks Wakanda is going to be a really good place for this comic, especially after the shields have been locked down. Will make a really good gaming preserve.
Mm.
He also mentions that the Yautja, last time the correction messed me up. So Utah have some of their royalty involved, and perhaps having 2 brothers competing for a throne, kind of mirroring
the Wakanda. Yeah.
And that vibranium would be a really good trophy that perhaps would even settle which one of them gets to rule, is whoever can obtain the vibranium. So that is what we're hearing about at that comic now. Now, as far as Cyberpunk 2077 goes, it no longer has any developers working on it. The game, as far as CD Projekt Red goes, it's done. There is a sequel in the works, but for now, the development on this game, they have now finished.
So maybe I'll just drop this here because we're talking about CD Projekt Red. It feels like a good time. So CD Projekt Red has just released the Redkit. The Redkit is the development tools that were used to create The Witcher, along with some extra pieces to help modders adjust and change things within the game. And if 2077 is built on the same engine as The Witcher, which I think it is, they'll probably just make some adjustments and release those same tools for 2077, right? Because this is what Skyrim did to create their lively modding community. And now we are getting it for The Witcher 3.
Gotcha. And they could also be doing it for Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah, so they've also done a lot of integration with Steam so that you don't have to go through Nexus. You can go through Steam, because a lot of people navigating the Nexus and having to go into their own files is like, and so like just being able to click Steam install is a lot easier.
Steam do it all easy.
Yeah.
User-friendly buttons.
Yeah. Just subscribe, and that's it. They're done, and then just hope that it works when you push start. But yeah, so they did release the Redkit, and there's some better Steam integration and mods coming there. So I think they're really hoping to bolster the modding community as they go into kind of this long winter of building The Witcher 4.
Right, which is where a lot of the developers that have left Cyberpunk
headed,
onto the sequel that will be built for Cyberpunk 2077. So, and then I also wanted to cover Terminator Zero. Brought this up a couple times in the past here and there, but this will be coming to Netflix August 29th.
Ooh. I'm already excited, but I don't know. Netflix is hit and miss, man. Sometimes they knock it out of the park, sometimes they don't.
This will be an animated series. We'll get 8 episodes. Set in 1977 Tokyo after the second film, but they also say that they are saying everything is canon. They're not going to ignore any of the films that have been made.
Oh, Terminator is such a tricky canon because you don't only just have the past, you have like the future, right? And so you have to make sure that
multiple paths and multiple futures. Right?
I mean, yeah, Terminator, that is a tangled web of canon, man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It is. So I think Star Wars is worse just because there's so much of it, right? The comics, the novels, the cartoons, the series, like Star Wars is, ooh, that is tricky world to navigate.
Star Wars is a bit bigger, right? You can just go to the other side of the galaxy.
and yeah. Well, but I mean, you can't have like big, sweeping, impactful events though, unless you dip your toe into the big canon.
Only world-changing events.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have intergalactic changing events, but you can have world-changing events.
Yeah. So I mean, this in Tokyo, it's like it's canon. Be like, ooh, that's messy. Not as big as Star Wars, but definitely messier than Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, because it's going to be set in Japan, there's not going to be a lot of guns. Guns is very much no guns. Japan is very much a no guns place, and especially in 1997. So this kind of led the writers to be creating more of a horror story feeling of the unstoppable killer, like Friday the 13th or Halloween.
Oh, and they don't have, like, I mean, guns weren't super effective, but they were better than nothing. I mean, trying to melee Terminator, forget it. Forget it. Right? Jeez.
And this is also helping them reach back to the original film, right? Because there was just Terminator that had guns, makeshift bombs. He didn't have any of his laser guns, but, it was very much like, throw some at him and run. So, yeah, you've got the teaser out now on Netflix. So I'm getting excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the wish list. I'm going to check that out.
All right.
I guess I'll have to check it out after you do. You check it out, we talk about it, then I check it out.
That might be how we do it. That might be. All right. On to you, Joe. That's my news.
All right. So not a lot going on in the fantasy worlds that I cover. We don't have anything new for D&D since we covered. They have made like slight updates to all the other stuff we've been talking about, but nothing big there. So I covered the Project CD Red stuff as far as The Witcher goes, kind of dumps that in there. We do have some images of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt. If you want to check those out, they're all over the internet. In the Game of Thrones, we're getting House of the Dragon on June 16th. I will put it here. So I did put a post on our Facebook page, but I will mention here, we are considering doing a historical short on that, being like, we know that the Game of Thrones series, that Fight for the Iron Throne, was based on the War of the Roses. There were also other points from historical history and battles that were kind of included, but that was mostly kind of the main history he was following in writing that story out. Would you be interested in us digging up the history of this conflict of Game of Thrones and doing an episode or two on that, depending how it is? So throw that out here now. Let us know if you're interested. We have put together a short on The Boys that should be coming out very close to its release date. This will be an introduction episode. So like for the first half of the episode, we're just talking about how we get to The Boys, right? The evolutions within the comics and everything going on there. Another thing is George R. R. Martin came out and just ranted against all these TV and movie adaptations, saying that they're just making it worse. Too many of these TV and movie writers want to make it their own, and they're not as good as the person who made this iconic story. And they fumble the bar hard, like they spend several million to buy this property, and they get it. These writers are rare and incredible for their stories to become this big. And then you have this TV writer nobody's heard of, and they just want to do their own thing with it. Be like, you are not that incredible talent. If so, you would have written a best-selling book, Well,
and the writer took his time. The TV writer
is on a deadline.
Hey, this is 6 months. You better have something.
Yeah. Whereas what is it? You've got projects like The Name of the Wind, or even The Lord of the Rings. He spent his whole life writing that. Decades went into those books.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you put it in front of a guy with a job and you say, 6 months, have something done, make it good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Do what I can. Well, and I think there's
books first real quick.
I can't speak to this specifically, but I think that a lot of these writers think if I can do something different than the book that is awesome and amazing, I make a name for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And instead what we get is you just ruined something somebody loves, because as much as you tried that, and we can understand why, the incentive is there, you messed it up.
The incentive is there, not the inspiration.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, we're going to get Tom Bombadil appearing in season 2, and that will be coming August 29th.
He's the super mage, right? He's got all the...
Oh, no, Tom Bombadil has like perfect self-mastery, so the ring can't control him. So he might have other stuff going on. It's been a while. I thought I had one other thing. No, I think the big thing was The Witcher. Oh, and The Boys, which is usually Aaron's territory, June 13th. We get 3 episodes, if I remember correctly, and then they'll be dropping 1 a week after that as we go into season 4. Do you know where in the comic book series season 4 picks up?
I don't. I should.
But yeah, so we've got, so I know the comic book is series is 72 issues, and then they've got some spin-offs and whatnot, but the main story, 72 issues. So I do wonder kind of where are we in that journey? Because
I think I heard something that there'll be Hero-gasm in this one, which was a spin-off. But from the trailer and from what I know of Hero-gasm, it didn't exactly line up for me. But I think I might have heard something about that. So that might just be included.
Okay.
Not like the main story.
Yeah, because I do wonder, I was like, the Boys is an open and closed story. It's not like Superman that just keeps going, or Batman, And
Yes. It has a definite beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. And so as much as they keep getting bigger and bigger ratings each season, this story has an end,
Well, speaking of spin-offs, they have Diabolical, but that kind of seemed like a one-season thing.
Yeah, I think that was just pulling in stories from the comics that didn't quite fit the main story they were going for.
Well, and it was kind of one of those experimental things they do where they're like, we want a new artist and a new director for each episode.
Oh, interesting. So they were like sampling.
A little bit, right? Like we're just trying to get very different feeling for each one.
Yeah, I've seen a couple shows on Amazon do that, and honestly, like I didn't like Diabolical. Each one just felt like their own story, but with some of the
Death and Robots is a good example of this.
Yeah, other projects that have done that, I find it more disorienting. I mean, this is not new. Like the Twilight Zone, everything was its own little story. Like each one just a short story, not it was episodic, not a bigger story. And I guess for me, who's been consuming these longer narratives for so long, I was like, that's it? What now?
Right. It's more of a collection of short stories.
Yeah. That is our news. If there's anything you want us to, a world you want us to cover, let us know. Now, you may be like, hey, you missed this. We try not to repeat news. So if we have dropped something 3 months ago and nothing's updated since then, we probably didn't mention it today. I think the only exception is the House of the Dragon and the Boys release dates, and that's just because they're so close. So, but other than that, write in, be like, hey, why don't you cover this world? And we'll add it to our collection.
Certainly.
Welcome to the FLORE Fantasy and Sci-Fi Lore, wherever you get your podcasts.